This is massive for New York Knicks prospect Kevin McCullar Jr., who is back in a New York Knicks uniform for the first time since Leon Rose drafted him, as McCullar looks to be a huge part of Tom Thibodeau's team, specifically mirroring a guy like Josh Hart, who McCullar has drawn a ton of comparisons to, and we're going to break that down and also discuss Moses Brown as this saga keeps getting crazier as he went for another elite showing. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. And if you guys want to get all New York Knicks news, trade rumors, updates on injuries, fun live streams, TikToks, YouTube shorts, so much fun stuff coming to the channel, make sure you're subscribed if you're part of that 76% not, or 66% not subscribed to the channel. But let's jump into this. We have a lot to discuss, starting with Kevin McCullar Jr. The New York Knicks drafted Kevin McCullar Jr. in the second round of the NBA draft, and he was a guy who fell in the draft because of an injury. The Knicks picked him knowing he was injured and knowing that he would be missing some time with an injury, but now is fully healthy and is back in New York Knicks uniform, is back in the Knicks uniform, as he looks to have a huge impact on the Knicks this season and for the future going forwards. Now, I understand that there's the stigma that Tom Thibodeau is not big on playing his guys, but Leon Rose selected an NBA-ready player in Kevin McCullar Jr., and I expect McCullar to be a real candidate out of these Knicks rookies to get the most burn of anyone, considering that he is a wing. The Knicks need a wing. On top of that, the Knicks also desperately need a guy who can mirror Josh Hart, and Kevin McCullar Jr. is the exact guy to do that. Now, McCullar played his first game back in Knicks uniform with the Westchester Knicks, putting up 10 points, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 turnover, while shooting 44% from the floor, 4 for 9 in 16 minutes. As he gets ramped up to join the New York Knicks on their NBA roster, he spent most of his time when he's recovering from injury with the New York Knicks, not with the Westchester Knicks, and that's an important thing to note because McCullar will look to be a part of this actual Knicks roster, not on the Westchester Knicks, which we definitely do have to mention. However, we're going to see him just continue to slowly build up his recovery and get back into playing shape. Now, McCullar was very good in college. He ended up leading his conference, the Big 12, in points per game in his final season. McCullar does it all. He's a great rebounder, he's a great passer, he's an elite defender, and scores the ball well, especially going downhill. His biggest weakness is that he has an inconsistent three-point shot, as you can see with the numbers. The three-point shot is the one thing that does hold him back a little bit, but that's something he can get down. We've seen Josh Hart get it down. We've seen players like McCullar get this thing down. So I don't think this is going to be the end of the world for a guy like McCullar. And the New York Knicks desperately need a wing. Their three top bench guys are Precious Achiuwa, Cameron Payne, and Deuce McBride. Deuce and Payne are guards, while Precious is more of a big. He's a power forward center. The Knicks need a small forward. Kevin McCullar Jr. fits into that better than Landry Shamet, and he could give the Knicks better minutes than Landry Shamet because he's a better defender and he's more versatile than Shamet is. Meanwhile, Shamet has struggled to find his rhythm from three, which is concerning when that's the real reason the Knicks brought in Landry Shamet in the first place. It wouldn't be too shocking if the Knicks waived Shamet and signed Kevin McCullar Jr. off of his two-way contract. I honestly do think, because I understand people are saying, oh, well, he's a rookie. Tibbs isn't going to play him. Tibbs will play rookies if they're useful and win-now players like Emmanuel Quickley was. Kevin McCullar Jr. is 23 years old. He's a win-now player. He doesn't need to be developed. He's the oldest rookie the Knicks have. Him and Tyler Kolek are both 23 years old. And Kolek would be playing if it wasn't for the fact that the Knicks had two awesome guards in Deuce McBride and Cameron Payne. And don't worry, Tyler Kolek is going to get his burn. It's just going to take a year because of who the Knicks personnel happens to be this season. And obviously, with the trade deadline coming up, things can shake around, and we could see the rotation change a little bit. I actually expect it to. I still think the Knicks are going to trade Jericho Sims, and likely I could see it happening for Javonte Green, which would give the Knicks a guy in Green who would replace Shamet, and McCullar probably would stay on the bench then, so the Knicks can use a more veteran team as they try to contend for an NBA title. But Kevin McCullar Jr. is a very, very nice piece to have, and he's drawn a lot of different comparisons over his time in the NBA. And Tom Thibodeau is going to love this one because he's drawn the comparisons to Josh Hart. Now, taking a look at these Josh Hart comparisons, Kevin O'Connor said when evaluating Kevin McCullar Jr. for the draft, he's a high IQ cutter with immaculate timing and feel for finding weak spots in the defense. He also has soft hands and a tough touch for finishing. Now, the thing about McCullar is in his first points this season. He took a Euro step to the left side, got fouled, hit the end one. Great finish by McCullar, went downhill well. He looked like he did not have this knee injury that kept him out of basketball activity for a year. He's now getting ramped up. He had another end one in the second half of the game. The man was balling out. He looked really, really good. He looked like a veteran out there. He looked comfortable. And I think we're going to see the Knicks be very interested in what they're seeing out of a do-it-all guy in McCullar and want to call him up and give him a tryout to see if he can impact the Knicks this season. I do think he can be their biggest impact rookie. I think he is their biggest impact rookie, if I'm being honest, because he's just so NBA ready. McCullar was not supposed to be a late pick in the NBA draft. He was picked 56th overall, one pick after Bronny James. McCullar was not supposed to be at this part of the draft. He was supposed to be a first-round pick, but he went down with an injury, and the Knicks said, hey, we're a contending team. We can wait for Kevin McCullar Jr. to show up and then be a glue guy for us, especially despite the fact I know we all love Josh Hart, but he's not going to last forever. He's turning 30 in a couple days, and he's still got a good amount of years left. But when when those tires lose their tread, when we see Josh Hart kind of get over the hill one day, Kevin McCullar Jr. is the perfect heir to Josh Hart's success and that role of I'll do whatever it takes. It's the type of mindset McCullar has, and it's also the energy that he brings, the defense that he plays, and just everything he brings to the court. And that was highlighted by a coach of his in Norm Roberts, who's a Queens native, coached at St. John's as well, but he coached McCullar at Kansas for 2 years, and he said, I coached against Josh Hart when he was at Villanova, and they're very similar players. I actually think he's a plug-and-play guy right now if they need him to be, talking about the Knicks and McCullar. I think you can play Kevin right now, and this is what I'm saying. This guy has the respect of his peers, and he really, really looks like another Josh Hart. And Norm also mentioned, that's Norm Roberts right there in case you're wondering, he probably has as high of a defensive IQ as any player I've ever been around in my life, declaring that McCullar could definitely have been a first-round pick if not for that late injury to his knee. He's tough as nails, so he'll guard a 6'9" guy or a 5'11" guy. So that, to me, is a guy that'll fit right in with who the Knicks are and what they do. Kevin McCullar is a winner. He's tough, and he's definitely tough enough to handle New York. I mean, I'm like, maybe it's because my room's cold. I genuinely have like goosebumps on my legs. Like, I'm so excited to watch this guy. When you find an exciting rookie, someone who has the respect of their peers like this, someone who's drawing comparisons to one of the most consummate pros and the best glue guy in basketball in Josh Hart, it's just so hard to not get excited when you're a team like the Knicks that could use another glue guy. We've seen the Knicks have a ton of interest in Bruce Brown in the past. We've seen them have interest, obviously, in other Josh Hart type guys, for instance, Javonte Green, who's cut from that cloth. Now there's Kevin McCullar Jr., who's going to play a big role with the Knicks in the not-too-distant future. Remember, they picked a 23-year-old saying, we'll wait till he's healthy, and then we plan on using this guy. McCullar is going to be on the Knicks roster before we know it, and by the Knicks roster, I mean off that two-way contract. He's on the roster already, and I expect the Knicks to give him a little bit of time in the G League just so he can warm up and make sure he's comfortable, because the only confidence he could struggle with right now, it seems like, is just potentially being a little worried about his knee injury and not wanting to go through that again, because injuries can mess with the head a lot, so it is important to note that. But I don't think it'll take long for Kevin McCullar Jr. to be right back up with the New York Knicks, getting his burn, doing his thing, and I mean, clearly I'm really excited for it. If he can mirror what Josh Hart does, even to some degree, because Josh Hart puts up 14 points, 10 rebounds per game, 6 assists, shooting 55% from the field and 35% from the three, getting also 1.6 steals per game. Look, I'll be honest, I thought he deserved to be an all-star this season. Yes, Jaylen Brown scores the ball better, but Josh Hart leads in every other stat category, so it's like, come on, man, like, I get Jaylen Brown's great and all that. I'm not hating on Jaylen Brown, but there's guys of that caliber who Josh Hart easily could have made it over. However, Josh did say he wants his rest. So, Josh, enjoy hanging out with Hendricks and Hayes Hart and your wife, Shannon. I hope you guys have a very excellent beach vacation that you won't stop talking about on the Roommates podcast. Josh seems like the man, so I am happy that he gets his little bit of a break. Meanwhile, Kevin McCullar Jr. is going to be in the gym working as usual, doing his thing, and Tom Thibodeau, you know, is going to love that. Now, all this being said, we do have something else to discuss, which is none other than Moses Brown, who once again balled out. Moses Brown, wait for it, there it is. Moses Brown, G League All-Star this season, 19 points and 25 rebounds in another great game. Obviously, this game he was playing with KMJ, and it's just getting to the point where you look at Moses Brown and you wonder how the hell he's not on the New York Knicks. Like, I understand the Pacers tried him out and he didn't really work out there. It doesn't matter. How the hell is this guy not in the New York Knicks? I mean, he's putting up 20-20 games against nobody's business. He's putting up 30-20 games. The man's putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers in the G League. You call this guy up. You take the chance. You're going to trade Jericho Sims anyway. Make sure your big man depth is good while Mitchell Robinson's not here. Even just give him a 10-day contract. You don't have to sign him to the whole year. Give him a 10-day while Mitchell Robinson's still healing after you trade Jericho Sims. Give Moses Brown some burn. The man looked good on the Oklahoma City Thunder when he got consistent minutes. He started 32 games with the OKC Thunder, put up 8 and 8 per game, and then fell off the planet for some reason. The man deserves burn in the NBA because he's clearly good enough to be there. He's had multiple great rebounding and good scoring games in the NBA, specifically with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but also had a great game with the Pacers that the Pacers overlooked and instead went for Thomas Bryant, which I think is a massive mistake on their part, and I think the Knicks should reap the rewards and bring out Moses Brown. I know I've talked about him a bit, so didn't want to get into him too much, but I mean, at this point, I mean, the fact is, this is one of the worst games he's had recently, which is insane. Leon, you know what to do, man. But guys, I do want to know what you guys think. Are you excited about Kevin McCullar Jr.? I'm thrilled. I cannot wait to watch this guy ball out in the orange and blue. It's going to be really exciting to watch. Meanwhile, let me know what you think about Moses Brown. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.